Well, hello and welcome to my garden. It's a beautiful morning in late winter. The sun's shining, the temperature's really quite warm, the birds are chirping in the trees, and there's a whole lot of things that we can do now in the garden to start off the gardening year. So come with me and I'll show you some of the jobs that I'm tackling now at this time of year. But first, can I suggest that you click and subscribe to this channel, because we're busy posting new videos all the time. Lots of interesting things to do in your garden, but also we'll be showing you more than just a few of some fabulous plants that I think you might want to find out about. And one of those jobs is to trim back ornamental grasses. Now these are what's known as herbaceous plants. That means that they grow out during the spring and summer and the fall, but during the winter time they go into dormancy, and then very shortly now in springtime, when the weather warms up, they're going to start to regrow again from the crown. So what we need to do is just remove this old dead growth at the top to make way for the new growth that's going to then come up and start the new gardening year. Now for this you're going to need some sort of implement for cutting it with. Now a lot of my work is done with pruners, or what we used to call in the UK secateurs, or in France they call them secateurs too. Or you could use just a pair of domestic scissors, or of course hedging shears. You're going to need some sort of receptacle, a tub or something like that, to put the trimmings in, and of course a rake then to clean it up afterwards. And then it's just a matter of really going in with your pruners or the hedging shears, whatever it is, just going in and trimming off the old growth to about 1 inch or 2, and that's all that you need to do. Now with some of these plants, they're really almost now so brittle that you don't even need to have a pruner or a pair of hedging shears. With a good stiff tug, you can pretty much get rid of most of this stuff, and then if you want you can go in and just tidy up any remnants that are there. And it's really just a matter of then finally raking up whatever is here, the old debris from the fall, leaves and so on, and all of these trimmings that you've got rid of, and then you'll start off with a nice clean bed ready to put in another year of growing. Now here's another good example. This is Bowles golden grass, a beautiful little carex that grows here in shady conditions, and as you see it's still got a little bit of the growth from last year, but you can come in with your pruners and just trim this baby back too and clean it up, so that then when it produces all of its bright golden growth it will look really pretty. Then of course, if you have large areas and lots of plants to do, you can make it even easier by using some power equipment. Here I have one that's got a hedge trimmer attached, and this makes it really easy. And then it's really easy. There, it could hardly be easier than that. And when it comes to trimming back larger grasses, I've got another tip for you that will make cleanup very easy too. And that is that I use a piece of rope to tie it in like a sheaf of corn. Just tie a loop in one end and then use that to pass around all of the foliage so that you gather it in together and then just pull it through the rope and tighten it up. And then when you go to trim it, everything will stay in place. And by tying them into sheaths like that, it makes the cleanup really easy. Now I'll also let you in on a little secret, and that is that the plant I just cut back is in fact in my neighbour's yard, because here in my garden I like to trim back the grasses in the autumn time, in the fall. You see, sometimes they get so brittle that there's debris that blows about and makes a mess during the winter time, in which case taking them away in late autumn means that I get a cleanup, and it doesn't matter to the plants whether you do it in the fall or now at this time of year. They will grow out now in early spring just as well. So that's how you deal with the herbaceous ones that have this dead type foliage on them. What about the evergreen ones like these little carex here? Let me show you how to deal with those. Now the difference is, of course, is that these still have green foliage on them. Now you'll see that during the winter time, the foliage here, with all the effect of wind and rain and cool temperatures and so on, has really started to discolor. Inside the plant it's still nice and green and healthy, but this is really a little disheveled looking. So that's why we give them a bit of a haircut now at this time of year. And giving them a haircut is really a very good description, because it's a matter just of gathering the foliage like so, and then with a pair of pruners or hedge clippers or whatever it is that you're using, just go through and trim off this old growth, leaving about 2 or 3 inches or so here in the center of the clump. Now one of the things I like about doing it this way is that as you go through and give it the haircut, you automatically are cleaning the plant up at the same time. So I like to take my time and just work my way around the clump, and then taking the clippings and putting them right into the tub there. It means that there's really very little to clean up afterwards. Incidentally, this plant is Carex Everest, one that was developed by Pat Fitzgerald in Ireland, and you'll see it right next to its parent here. This is Carex Evergold, and you'll see how this one is much more vigorous and also has this pretty green and white edge foliage. Really both very good plants that'll give lots of interest throughout the entire year. And now that I've given it its haircut and the plants are nicely shaped, as you see, in about 3 or 4 weeks this will regrow out, and in no time at all it'll have lots of fresh foliage all over the plant, ready to give a lovely display for the rest of the year and next winter as well. So there you are. Now you know how to trim back your grasses and get your garden off to a great start this spring. This is David Wilson. Enjoy your gardening. It's good for us, and it's very good for our environment too.